This is a Fatal 4 podcast.
Oh, Leona taking Billy Gunn off his feet, but Max Caster, the springboard, the slip, he didn't get all of it.
Welcome to Didn't Get All of It, goddamn midnight edition. It's your boy B-Rob, and you know we're going to talk about Double or Nothing. And here to do it all with me and get all of it is one Paul Griffin.
Yeah, I unfortunately did get all of this pay-per-view, and I'm very tired now.
Did you get all of it? Because for you to truly get all of it, you have to watch the pre-show. Did you watch the buy-in?
No.
All right, so you didn't get all of it.
Thankfully, I did not put myself through that.
Yes. But before we get into the show, you want to go over to all your favorite podcasting platforms and everything like that, and you can want to look for Didn't Get All of It. So we drop new shows every Friday morning, and if you want to find all our social medias and all that stuff, you want to go to fatal4pod.com, and that's Fatal, Four. So you got to spell it out for them. Pod.com. And if you want to be generous and nice and things and stuff like that, you want to go to our Patreon, which you can also find on fatal4.com. It's all one-stop shopping, everybody.
Fatal4pod.com.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said fatal4.com.
Yeah, I know. I do leave the pod off sometimes. You know, I'm trying to save us a little bit of money. If you drop the pod, it's a little bit of savings, but you got to add that on there if you want to find all the good shit. So fatal4pod.com.
You should buy fatal4.com.
Let me see if it's available. But anyway, no, I can't do that right now.
It. Yes. Yeah, one thing to note, if you do sign up for the Patreon for only $3 a month, you do get ad-free episodes. So that's something that might be appealing. But you also get access to the Discord with a bunch of fans just like yourself and us hanging out all week talking wrestling and all the other things that come to our mind. It's like good Twitter.
Mm-hmm. I will also say and forever say that the $3 a month, well worth the cost of admission to the Discord. So that alone is worth the $3 a month.
Yeah, but also no ads. So if you don't like ads in your podcasts,
yeah.
And bonus shows. We are doing a bonus show. I think next weekend we're doing an Oops All Emails episode where we read your emails. You can send them at fatal4pod.com. Use the little contact form at the middle bottom of the page. Send us an email. We'll read it. We'll talk about whatever you send in. We're going to tape that next week.
Yeah. Or you can be around in the Discord so we can do more movie nights, which I just announced what we're going to do next month in probably the next week or two. So stay tuned for that.
Cool. In the meantime, you want to talk about this show?
Yeah, I mean, we stayed up late enough for it.
I have a lot of thoughts on this show.
I know you do. You're Paul Griffin. You are the thought master.
Did you want to talk about the pre-show at all?
Yeah, I could just breeze through it real quick. We had Deonna Purrazzo versus Thunder Rosa. And this, I think, didn't we talk about it? We tried to figure out which matches was going to be sub 10 minutes or whatever. This was the one. This was the one match that was, it wasn't under 10 minutes, but it was damn near close. It was 10 minutes and 15 seconds. So I just wanted to throw that out there because we had this conversation already. But it was a good match. I mean, I don't think there was any match on this card that was bad, so to speak. But there was only one match that was on the pre-show that I didn't get to put my eyes on, and that was the triple threat match. It was Daddy Ass and Acclaim versus Brian Cage and the Gates of Agony or whatever. So they call them the Cage of Agony because that's what they are now. But I didn't see it, so I can't really speak on it. But the fellow Discorders were telling me that it was PR right. But that leads us into our first match on the card proper, Will Ospreay versus Roderick Strong for the International Championship. Thoughts, Paul?
Not a ton. This went about as what you would expect.
I thought it went too long.
I thought it was a little short, but considering the rest of the show, it's fine. There was lots of involvement from the Undisputed Era group. What are they called?
The Undisputed Kingdom.
The Undisputed Kingdom. That makes sense. Lots of involvement there. Tons of shenanigan. Don Callis shows up, of course. We'll talk about him a lot throughout this show because they named the show after him.
Yes. Also, I named this this chat Don Callis or Nothing.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of takes on this one. Ospreay won pretty clean and simple in the middle of the ring. Not a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's about what you thought. Yeah, it's about what we thought. I mean, we all knew going into this that he was going to win that belt. So now the joke that I made in the Discord was you have Will Ospreay as your Intercontinental and you have Kazuchika Okada as your Continental. I said you have your longitudinal and latitudinal champions for this brand.
Oh, that makes sense. They should wrestle and unify those titles.
Yeah, or do an implosion match to where whoever wins the belts explode and disappear.
I don't think people would like that. They like both of those guys.
Well, I said the belts, not the people.
Oh, okay. What happened after was pretty notable.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. So, like, we had all this shenanigans with Undisputed Kingdom and everything. You know, I mean, everybody was there except for one Adam Cole who showed up after all the shenanigans.
Yeah. Apparently he can walk again.
But he did mention somewhere in his did mention somewhere in his promo that he still should have been home rehabbing his ankle. Why
was he not involved in this match?
Yeah, that's what I don't know.
And where was Undisputed Kingdom during this segment?
Exactly. I mean, they did get, pardon my phrasing, beat off, but I guess they were still fighting in the backstage area.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, Adam Cole came out. He said a bunch of nothing.
Yeah.
Mostly, this was to set up the other return.
I mean, they do it in twos, right? One person comes back and another person comes back. It's like the thing with WWE and The Miz. Anytime The Miz goes away and he comes back, it's not really his return, it's somebody else's return or reveal.
Oh, yeah. He hasn't been injured in so long that they haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, or went to film his TV show.
Yeah. How did you feel about the MJF video package prior to his music hitting? With him doing like the Batman suiting up in his ugly house?
I thought it was pretty cool. I didn't know what the hell was going on, but like people kind of clued me into it in the Discord, which I keep saying so much about the Discord. You can be a part of it too, but just at $3 a month on our Patreon. Go to fatal4pod.com.
I didn't need the video, honestly. If the music would have hit, that would have been good enough for me. But music did hit. He came out dressed as Triple H with the leather and denim
wild.
Jacket. I loved that.
It was great. Yeah, and I think the visuals are just like a MJF thing or whatever. He's been doing that for shtick for as long as we can remember with the devil thing and all this other stuff. So I didn't mind it as much. I thought it was just cool to see him back. I mean, he looks a little more ripped, a little more tan. Hair filled in a lot nicer. Let it grow out a little bit. A lot of F-bombs, new tattoos, and here we are.
Yeah. He kicked Adam Cole in the dick and then...
Trademark.
Yeah. Announced that he hated the devil mask and did the elbow drop on it, which was fun. And then revealed that he has an AEW tattoo on his lower calf and says that he's not fucking leaving. Which... I guess people thought he was leaving at one point. Yeah. I know there was talk of like that contract signing, the 2024 contract thing is up. This dude's been signed. He extended his contract like a year ago. So I don't know how that wasn't like making the rounds if it didn't, but I guess people didn't believe it.
Yeah.
The good news is that tattoo is low enough for a wrestling boot to cover it up if he ever does leave.
Also, the AEW is in the middle of the poker chip surrounded by black. He can just easily black it in and just make it look like a poker chip plain. So
that's true.
He has options.
Yeah.
I said that. I said when you get his WWE deal, they put him in the game. I wonder if that tattoo will still be there.
I guess if you remove the boot, you'll have to. That's all you'll see.
I know he probably had a low cut boot. I want to see it. I won't see it.
You're just trying to look at digital MJF feet.
No. The only feet I want to look at is Sasha Banks. I don't know.
All right, save it for later.
I unlocked that. I don't know what happened when I seen her come out in that gold outfit. Anyway, Bang Bang Gang.
New fetish discovered.
Bang Bang Gang versus the Death Triangle for the Trios. Well, let me clarify. The Unified World Trios Championship. So
rolls right off the tongue.
A lot of people are wondering why they're carrying around 9 titles or whatever. So you have the original 8. What I wouldn't say original. You have the scissor titles, which were the trios titles. You have the ROH titles, which are their own trios titles. The other titles are those that are labeled as the Unified World Trios Championships. So that's why they had 3 sets of belts. They're doing the Roman Reigns thing of when he got the one unified title, he still carried around the other 2 just for shits and giggles.
That happened
so that's
for
what
like
they're
a
doing.
week and a half, and they said, this is dumb.
Mm-hmm. Well, it takes them a little bit longer in AEW to say things are dumb. So
it sure does take them long in AEW to do anything.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I promise you there will be stuff that I have to say about matches throughout this night. There's nothing I have to say about this one. This was like super fast paced. They kept it pretty short at 12 minutes.
Yep.
And Juice Robinson returned, which allowed for the Bang Bang to retain Tane.
I like what you did there.
That's the only note I had.
You noted that?
Yeah.
Oh man, I thought it came right off the dome. That was a good shit.
It did earlier, like 12 hours ago when this match happened.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too many gripes about it either. I mean, that's kind of like a little bit of the trend with this card or whatever. I don't have too many complaints, but I think we might have.
You could have taken this match and put it on the pre-show. It did not need to be on the card.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what does that 12 minutes save you in the grand scheme of things?
Mm-hmm. And then, like, even if we swapped anything, I don't think there was nothing on the pre-show that could have been swapped to the main card. So, I mean, a lot of filler on
no
that.
Swapping.
Yeah.
Can we please just get these shows shorter?
I don't know. That's why we was talking about the 2-night thing. 2-night Double or Nothing.
It's not the worst idea.
Yeah. Especially in Vegas. If that's going to be your main spot for these events, this one in particular, make it 2 nights. Fuck it. Do Double or Nothing weekend. You know, you do Rampage and Collision, and then you have Double or Nothing. You just move things around. Make it work. Make it make sense, damn it.
Double PLEs or nothing.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people might lean toward the nothing, but that's neither here or there. Next, we got
most times.
Especially at this hour. Next, we have Timeless Toni Storm versus Serena Deeb for the AEW Women's World Championship. Let me know, man. I thought the match was fine. Got a lot of good visuals in there. I thought Serena Deeb's outfit didn't really fit her style per se, but it looked good nonetheless. But what you got for me, Paul?
Yeah, it was all right. This one struggled to catch my interest. I don't think anybody had even the slightest thought that Serena Deeb would walk out with this title.
I had a sliver of hope, but I mean, there's a reason Tony's retaining.
Super submission heavy match with Serena working Tony's knee.
Yeah, that's her thing.
There was an interesting spot where Mariah was going to throw in the towel, but Luther stopped her. Yep. And then Tony caught Luther with the towel thinking he was going to throw it in. So she chucked it into the audience. And then at a certain point in the match, Serena Deeb kicked out of the Storm Zero, which you could have just done the finish there. Didn't need it.
Well, I mean,
you don't need her to kick out of one just to hit her with another one later.
Well, I mean, she hit her with 2 later. And then the super one.
She could have just ended the match there.
Yeah.
It's like if she's kicking out of it, unless you're going several more minutes or Serena's winning, like why do the spot? Just have Tony win. It keeps the finish strong.
Yeah. So like she did it in the ring, kick out. Then she did it on the apron. And then she got her in the ring, did it off the top of the top rope. And wow.
Yeah.
A lot of wild stuff going on there. But I mean, now that she's retained, and I got a feeling why, because Miss Hater is coming back, reclaim what she didn't lose.
Is that confirmed?
Oh, I mean, it's what's going around, but like this is how AEW does things, and that's kind of why I come to this conclusion, because we said the same thing with a particular person who had a TBS title that had to forfeit it due to injury. And that title did not change, which gave Jade Cargill the long run that she had until Statlander came back from injury to reclaim her title.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's the only conclusion that I'm going off of. And people have been saying that it's been a while. She might as well come her ass back if she can.
That's my thing is, can she? I don't know if she can.
Yeah, I hope so.
I haven't seen any reports saying otherwise, but maybe.
A lot of people were speculating that she might have made an appearance tonight, but I mean, there was nothing to substantiate these thoughts. But it was a good match. I enjoyed it. Serena Deeb. So a lot of people say this was a double turn. I think it was earlier.
I didn't think it was tonight.
Yeah. So like, Serena Deeb has always been an asshole. She became an asshole when she had that match with Riho, and she just pummeled her legs mercilessly, and the crowd did not like it. And forever then on, she's been like the asshole. So like, when you have a gimmick such as Toni Storm, you have no choice but to become a face or be, treated as such.
Yeah, she's too silly to be a heel.
Yeah.
At least as a champion.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's working. I mean, I asked the question as I do with so many paired groups or trios or whatever grouping of people that you have. Do you think Mariah May would turn on Toni Storm?
Of course. It's AEW. I fully expect her to turn on Toni Storm and then align herself with Don Callis within like a month.
That's been your prediction for everything on this card.
They've given me no reason to believe otherwise.
Speaking of Don Callis, the next match on the card is Orange Cassidy.
You should be speaking about Don Callis at all times, and if you're not speaking about Don Callis at all times, you should be asking, where's Don Callis and why is he not here?
Well, that's what I'm saying. This next match with Orange Cassidy and Trent Barretta had Don Callis on commentary.
It sure did.
So there he is.
So this started with Orange Cassidy's music playing and then not coming out, and then his old music playing, and then he also had darker pants on and wore a black shirt. So that should tell people it's violent Orange Cassidy. He's the painmaker Orange Cassidy.
Serious.
Yeah.
Blood
everyone
orange,
has an
as they call
everyone in this company has a slightly angrier alter ego of themselves that they only dust off for big matches.
Yeah. Blood orange. That's what they call him.
Did they really? Because that's a great name.
They didn't call him, but that's what we dub him.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, the darker denim and a freaking dark shirt. I mean, commentary went far to mention that he did wear a black shirt that he's not normally wearing and things like that. But this is the dark side of Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, Don Callis made him do it.
Well, I mean, we would get, I think, is it after this match? I'm not trying to gloss over it, but like after this match, there was a segment with Don Callis talking about his announcement would be that Wednesday he would offer Orange Cassidy a contract.
Great. That's what we need is poor Orange Cassidy being saddled with Don Callis. Even in a program with him would be unfortunate.
I think a contract was mentioned. I don't know. I think the consensus from the Discorders was that he would present the contract, but Trent would take it, or he would present, it would be like a ruse.
Well, yeah. I assume Orange Cassidy's not aligning himself with Don Callis.
Mm-hmm.
But we can talk about that on the Friday show.
Yeah.
This match was kind of a hoot.
Yeah.
Trent kind of took advantage and hit a huge pile driver on the apron at one point, and then went to drive Orange into the steps, but Orange Cassidy reversed it, and Trent took it on the steps, and that's kind of where they, quite the banger on the steps.
Mm-hmm. A lot of step work tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of plunder throughout this whole show.
Mm-hmm. Step
at one point, Orange Cassidy tried to do the hug spot as, I guess, to bait him in, which failed, but didn't really matter because he still got the upper hand. Mm-hmm. And then the finish came when Trent got a go-go plata on Orange Cassidy, who just flipped over it and pinned him.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite way of people losing matches is failing at their own moves. This upset Trent. He was big sad after the match. Seemed like he was surprised he didn't win. They were very heavy on their talk of, he said he wanted a regular wrestling match and he lost. So this will likely continue, is what they hinted at. And then Renee tried to interview him near the ramp, and he said he's done, and he left through the crowd. So
I think at some point Rocky Romero came out there to talk to him or whatever. He just pushed him off. Yeah.
All right. On to your favorite match of the night.
Fuck this.
The Learning Tree.
Damn it.
The Learning Tree Chris Jericho defending the FTW title against Hook and Shibata.
Oh, shit. So the gnarliest spot of this whole thing was when he whipped out the dice. So, like, I don't give a fuck, like, how you fall on them shits. Them shits is gonna hurt. It just, I was just saying,
like Chris Jericho more for this match because he took a lot of spots.
Well, yeah. So, like, this is what I'm saying. He know he's the drizzling shits, and he knows that people like me and others have an opinion of him right now. So what Chris Jericho is doing in his own way is trying to atone for his missteps and everything. His just lack of just, oh God, I don't even know what to say. I'm tired of this motherfucker.
He looks terrible in this match.
Yes. I mean, he took majority of the stuff, like you said, but it was just like he's trying to atone for his missteps, personally and publicly. Fuck that dude, man.
Well, he brought out a big bag of dice, like you said, and immediately took suplexes on to the dice from Hook and Shibata, and then both of them at the same time. Kind of got him out of the match for a minute.
Pelted him with dice, too.
Yeah. Shibata and Hook then went and got kendo sticks, and so did Jericho, who was back in the ring with sticks. And he hit them with sticks, and they no-sold it, and then they beat him up with sticks. Then Shibata got a table out at one point, set it up, and put Jericho on it, and then did a Death Valley driver to Hook through Jericho through the table, except like completely missed the table.
Would it be safe to say he didn't get all of it?
I would say that, but the commentary team unfortunately didn't. So
yeah.
The table collapsed. They set it up in the corner and threw Jericho through it because you got to break the table.
Yeah. I mean, they made the mistake of not pushing the table out further or whatever because they went over Jericho and slid off the side.
Yeah.
But, mistakes happen.
There's mistakes to come because at this point, Hook gets the red rum on Jericho, but Big Bill shows up and stops it and ultimately takes a suplex through a table off the apron,
which he almost got impaled by them goddamn legs.
It happens. Who among us hasn't been almost impaled by table legs?
I can't. I'm trying to think of a time that I didn't go through a table.
So Shibata reversed a Walls of Jericho and locked in a figure four, and then Hook locked in a red rum. So we might see a double pin or double submission like we saw on Dynamite when a mystery man shows up in a mask.
I did
breaks
not
the whole
like
thing up.
this shit.
And I was thinking it's Sammy Guevara. We're just going to put him with Jericho again, and I'm going to scream and rage and complain. But no, worse. It's Brian Keith.
Fuck!
He has saved Chris Jericho from losing. Jericho pinned Shibata. And this is stinky. This match was kind of stinky, too. Like, it was a messy, blunder-filled match. Very sloppy.
So, like, just a couple things, man. Like, just the dice fucked all this up. It was too many. Like, if you're supposed to have a little pile of things or whatever, and just walking and navigating on all those dice is, you can't really get traction. And it was evident by a lot of their movements and everything. They couldn't really walk like they wanted to because it was for fear of rolling an ankle or just fucking yourself up on all them damn dice. And them shits is hard. There's no give with none of them shits. It's just like, it's not sharp corners, but they're hard and pointed. So it's just, none of that was good. And like me personally, if I am a wrestler and I had to do that more than once, every time I hit the mat, I'm like snowmanning or freaking like, you know, just waving my arms and kicking my feet, trying to knock all them goddamn dice out of the way, out of the ring. So I could have, you know, a safe landing spot throughout the match. Because that was just fucking ridiculous. Now, there's a couple things I want to say about the ending of this match. Brian Keith coming out there looks to be aligning himself with the learning tree and everything. So it's Jericho, Big Bill, Brian Keith. So I don't like this. I really don't. But at the same time, my man Brian Keith is, I guess, assumably going to be featured more on television, which I still have the argument of he was featured on television before this. So why are we doing this? But
I think this is a better position for him because he might get to win matches now.
Exactly. That's what I was going to point to as well. You know, 2-18 record or whatnot. But like his arrival here, they have treated him like he's a big deal. He just ain't been winning fucking matches. But like, dude is on TV. Dude is doing his thing. But now you put him with Jericho, a guy that I hate. I'm now conflicted because now I gotta watch Jericho. No, I don't love him. I gotta watch him for BK. So it's just, oh my God. But you know, the whole thing, I can tell you, I knew it was him. So prior to, you know, we was talking about that in the Discord as well, which you can be a part to by going to fatal4pod.com, signing up for Patreon. We thought Sammy was going to come too. But when I saw this guy roll in the ring, I was like, no, you can ask anybody who can hear the sound of my voice in the Discord. I was livid. I was just screaming no. I didn't want it to happen. And so as soon as he reached for the hood and the mask, I was like, that's Brian Keith. And I know this because he did this exact same thing in ROW. There was a faction he had a beef with and said some shit similar to this. Then he came to the aid of somebody wearing a Mysterious Q's mask, and it revealed himself to be Brian Keith, part of the thing that he had the issue with before. So I was like, did he pitch this? I was like, you son of a bitch.
Maybe. I mean, masked person showing up is not a uncommon thing.
Man.
But it's your problem.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah, let's just move on to the next thing. Fucking stupid shit. Jon Moxley defends the IWGP. No, he doesn't defend it. He defends the opportunity. Yeah, he defends the opportunity to fight for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship down the line.
Yeah,
but he goes up against Takeshita, and Takeshita beat the shit out of this man. He was already worn out prior to, you get some sippy on the champ for all his bandages and his wounds and his injuries and whatnot. But Takeshita looks good. But that's the thing.
Like a very lengthy squash match with the wrong winner.
Yeah.
Because Don Callis was there. Why didn't he get to win?
I don't know. They even went so far as to, in his lower third when Takeshita came out, is 11-2 since joining the Don Callis family. Because, think about it. Before he joined this stable, Takeshita was doing the Brian Keith thing, or what we'll famously dub for AEW is he got sky blued. Prominent matches, a lot of screen time, but always fucking lost. So he got sky blued before joining the Don Callis family. So Brian Keith, he was getting sky blued. So hopefully joining this faction, he might get some wins under his belt. But he should have won this whole thing based on his performance, based on his look, based on everything. Takeshita should have won this shit. But
yeah, he kind of beat the shit out of Moxley throughout the whole match. He worked his injured shoulder and arm. At one point, he undid most of the bandage tape and used it throughout the match as kind of a bull rope of sorts. I stepped away at one point, and when I got back, Takeshita was still wrecking the shit out of him.
Yeah,
and at one point, he started throwing chairs in there, which led to Moxley catching him with a stomp on the stair, and then the Death Rider for the win, which seemed to come out of nowhere and felt a little unearned. But the story here is about Don Callis,
of course,
as most of the show was, because the commentary team was very heavy on saying hey, if Takeshita didn't listen to Don Callis, then he probably would have walked out the winner. But this whole show is all about Don. It's called AEW Don or Nothing, so it had to be about him, and his stable is slowly falling apart as he picks on everybody and ruins their nights. It's all about Don. He's so great. We all love him, and he adds so much to the show, and they should put him in more matches. Am I right?
Yeah. A lot of the thinking behind Takeshita losing this, because it would have earned him a title opportunity for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. But Mox already has a challenger coming up, and I guess it would have been conflicting with that story and whatnot. And I was like, fuck it, make it a triple threat. Do something. But it's just like, Takeshita shouldn't have lost this match. I say, if he, and somebody else brought up a good point to where, this should have been the title match if he was going to lose.
Nah. You can have eliminator matches where a guy doesn't earn a shot. Otherwise, everyone's expected to earn the shot. I disagree with that statement.
But nobody damn wins them anyway, a lot of the time.
Well, that's why they're called eliminators. If he doesn't deserve a title shot, he didn't win this match. And now he has a reason to be mad at Don Callis, and we can spend time on Dynamite talking about Don Callis. We need more Don Callis.
You're right. I don't know why I even thought that way. We need more Don Callis. Next,
Speaking of Don Callis, when we come back, we will talk more about Don Callis. We'll also talk about the barbed wire steel cage match, Willow versus Mercedes Mone, Swerve versus Christian Cage, and finally the Elite against Team AEW. Right after this.
And welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed your ad spot. I mean, there's a way that you can avoid that by going to our Patreon and getting that ad-free content. But since you're here now, let's talk about our next match on the card, which was the barbed wire steel cage match for the AEW TNT Championship. Adam Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, versus Malakai Black, representing the House of Black. There's a lot of shit going on during this match.
If you like shenanigans, this match had you covered. First of all, the match was filled. Match. The ring was already filled with, like, the cage had barbed wire all over it, but there was also tables in the ring just in case. Malakai did his little entrance, and then Adam Copeland came out to Slayer music. He had the Brood entrance with the fire. He loves that stuff, so he got good. Yeah, it was cool as shit. Also, I believe this was Malakai Black's pay-per-view debut.
The singles?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
Isn't that stupid?
Yeah, really.
That's really dumb. They started off this match by swinging chairs at each other and hitting the chairs together. And then quickly, Adam grabbed barbed wire off the cage and just dug it right into Malakai's head.
Yeah, that was nasty.
Yeah. Adam Copeland completely controlled the beginning of this match. There was a sit-out powerbomb. He hit the execution at one point. And then Malakai blocked a spear, and Edge gets cut open at this point. So now everybody's bleeding. Malakai tried for a concerto with a barbed wire bat and chair, but Edge stopped it and reversed it and hit him with the bat.
He's got a bat.
At one point, Adam Copeland goes through a table, but kicks out. He gets a spear, but Malakai kicks out. Adam Copeland hits a pile driver and sets Malakai Black on a table and then ties him to it with barbed wire.
That shit was wild.
Then Edge climbs to the top of the barbed wire cage, does a really wacky elbow drop off of it, which
fucked up all his knees and ankles.
I don't know a better way of doing this, mainly because I'm not a wrestler, but it looked like it would have blown out all of his knees.
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to go across, man. You just
still a cool spot. He hits this elbow drop off the cage through the table.
But this is the thing, though, is like we look at that like he just more or less stepped off the top of the cage and went to his feet and just kind of drove his arm through this guy. But like, I'm thinking back to when Kurt Angle did moonsaults and Cody doing moonsaults off the top of cages and missing and just hitting the ground. Like, I bet that don't feel good at all.
Yeah, that's fucking dumb. Also, well, Kurt Angle maybe, but Edge was told his neck would turn to dust if he did another spear a couple years ago or a decade ago. So do what you can to protect yourself.
Well, he's like, fuck my neck. I'm going to just tear up my knees.
Yeah. I mean, this spot was cool regardless. You can get new knees. This was really cool. The crowd was chanting, holy shit. There was a great spot after, since it was a near fall, of course, wasn't the finish, where Edge went for a spear, but caught the end kick instead. And then Malakai tried to murder him with a spike, but missed, cut open the ring, which is important for later.
Yes.
Then they leave the cage, which seemed unnecessary, but it got the House of Black involved.
Yeah, that's how you get the people in.
Yeah. I mean, they could have just come out and gotten the ring. House of Black gets involved. They tease joining Adam Copeland, but then they don't. They beat him up, bring him into the ring. They start wrapping him up with barbed wire, and they're about to kick his head off when spooky lights start happening, and Gangrel crawls out from under the ring.
We was calling it, man. We've been wanting it for so long, and we finally fucking got it.
I did get confirmation last night that they do not own the rights to the Gangrel music, so but that doesn't mean they can't get him. He shows up, he spits blood, he ends up getting his head kicked in from Malakai, but Adam Copeland then, I guess he hits a spear, I don't remember, but he ends up doing a crossface to Malakai with barbed wire wrapped around his face.
And he passes out.
He passes out because the rumors are true, folks. He doesn't get pinned and he doesn't submit.
So just to verify, I've scrolled through Cage Match, and this is indeed his first singles pay-per-view match.
That's so stupid. It's really, really wild.
Yeah, because everything that I see here is just Rampage, Dark at some points, freaking AEW, because he faced Cody on AEW, because I don't think they was really doing shit back then. So Yeah, he defeated Cody Rhodes back in 2021 on Dynamite. Then he beat Brock Anderson, Dynamite. Yeah, I mean, there's no AEW pay-per-view for his singles matches that I can see in here.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. That's crazy. Also, speaking of people making their singles debut on AEW pay-per-views.
So this
Mercedes
is the one.
Mone.
Yeah, this is the one I've been waiting on or whatever. Because I was like, soon as the entrances started, soon as the little card promo package and everything started to play for this thing, I was like, all right, let's see how much shit Paul gonna talk. So lay it out there.
I don't have a whole ton. Mercedes got a glowing drumline entrance and Vegas Showgirls. Willow doesn't need that, of course, so she just had her regular entrance.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, my big takeaway here, like, this match was good. Willow controlled from the start. There's a power bomb on the apron to Mercedes.
Yeah, she just turned to a noodle.
It was really fast paced. I thought Mercedes looked really good for someone who hasn't wrestled in almost a year.
Mm-hmm.
My only complaint is that Mercedes won with her weird new finishing move and Willow lost. That was not what they should have done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like
well,
that.
I mean, it was destined to be, man. It's just, I don't know, man. It's the new toy syndrome or whatever. I mean, because we all know Willow got sky blued as well. You know, she was always on, always doing things, never won anything. But like, even the circumstances of these two meeting for the first time when they went up against each other after that tournament to determine the strong women's title holder or whatever. They met in the finals. Mercedes got hurt. She was supposed to win, so Willow won by proxy. I mean, this is how we got this feud going and everything until I was like, yeah, she had to win. She had to have a title or whatever, and is only doing it because it's her.
I don't think she had to win.
No, I'm not saying she had to, but that's what we got. I would rather Willow. I would rather Willow. I would rather Takeshita. I would have rather anybody other than Brian keep teaming up with Jericho or anybody winning that match. You know, there's a lot of things I would have rathered on this show.
My hope is that this doesn't lead to like Willow being deprioritized at all.
Mm-hmm.
I could see it happening, but I hope it doesn't.
Yeah. So, I mean, this goes back to the thing that was spoken about before. I asked this. I don't know if it was to y'all, but I was like, will Statlander turn on Willow? And we got our answers tonight.
Yeah, very quickly, actually. She turned on her very quickly, beat her up on the ramp, and they went straight to Don Callis.
They did? I
think so. I think this was the segment where he said that he would do the contract on Dynamite.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, Stokely had this big shit-eating grin on his face or whatever, like this was the plan all along or some shit like that, you know? And I mean, like, to me, there was like little subtle indicators that this was going to happen. Or like, I'm just jaded with wrestling and like trios and duos and all kinds of stuff. I'm always thinking somebody going to turn on somebody. But
right.
I was validated here. Well, you ready to get into that second of our third main event?
I thought the show was over after this match, and I completely forgot that there was going to be an elite AEW match.
Mm-hmm.
So I was really excited. I'm like, oh, cool. Swerve is main eventing a show. Normally they just throw him in the mid card and he doesn't come off as a main event champion. Not the case. He's not main eventing this show, but still great match. Swerve had a really cool entrance inspired by the Warriors, famously Las Vegas themed movie that I've never seen. But most importantly, Prince Nana is back and he is dancing.
Yeah. For a limited time only, though, because he got kicked out at some point in the match.
Yeah, so this whole show was filled with shenanigans, honestly.
Shenanigans or nothing.
More than it needed, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. sometimes you just want clear, concise endings and stuff. Just no bullshit.
Yeah.
But if that bullshit turns into something later, I mean, I guess, but can we come up with other creative ways to get there? God damn it. Can we have people be mad after the fact? It's like, I don't like losing to you. I like your face. And we can fight about it later instead of doing shenanigans in the ring. I don't know.
I mean, it'd be nice.
Swerve stomped the shit out of Christian.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally and figuratively.
Well, this match revolved around all the shenanigans at ringside. Nana got ejected first, which led to the Patriarchy group getting a bunch of cheap shots in on Swerve. But eventually there's this really great exchange where the Swerve got a double stomp on whatever they're calling Luchasaurus now, and then back body drop to Wayne on the outside. And then Christian got a spear, which led to a near fall. This is really cool. And then the ref threw out the Patriarchy, and Swerve got busted open going over the top rope and like banging his head on the stairs in a weird way.
Yeah.
And then Nick Wayne showed up again with an RKO.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah, out of nowhere. And was hiding, and they're all mad that the ref didn't see it. And then Nana showed up with a pipe and chased him off. Which even after you think the shenanigans are done, they put him back in.
Yeah, the call on commentary, Taz, he's like, oh shit, he's got a big ass pipe.
Yeah. So after the RKO, Christian hit the kill switch, got a near fall, and then the finish came. It was really cool. Both guys were like running the ropes and crisscrossing each other, and then Christian goes for the spear, but Swerve hits the house
call out of the sky.
Yeah, this was really great. And then did the stomp, and then another kick to the noggin for the win. So nice that Swerve won. He looked really strong in this. I liked it.
Yeah, and he's had two strong showings. I mean, the one that won him the title, and this defense as well was a strong showing against two veterans. In those instances, he did really well. And, kudos to Christian for being better than Samoa Joe.
That match with Joe was really good, though.
No, it wasn't. And I'll tell you why. Because he did less than what I expected him to do, and that's sad. Anyway, we're not reviewing that show.
Yeah, that's over.
Main event, the Elite versus the team of Darby Allin, or collectively known as Team AEW. So the Elite versus Team AEW.
It's weird.
Yeah, it was. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think I want a pair of them shoes.
Why? They're so horrible.
I like horrible things, I guess.
You don't have to do that.
I know. I mean, you don't have to do a lot of shit that you do, but you do it anyway.
I know, but they're like really stupid looking shoes. They look like they're for children.
I'm a child of professional wrestling.
They don't even look like they're made of good material.
I don't know. I maybe I could see some in person. It might change my mind. But I want those shoes, and I want Swerve's shoes as well whenever they make those available. But
those are probably going to be better.
Probably, but I want them both. But oh man, talk about. So I want to know your thoughts on this.
I don't have
people were saying, out of all the Anarchy and Arena matches they had, this was the best one. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't have much memory of the other ones to compare, so like I'll let people do those comparisons on their own. There's a lot.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to sum this up. This match was a lot.
Well, let's start with of course they do the same shtick to where like they kind of expanded on it though. The last person to come in. The last person to come in.
This match started as a bit, they were doing jokes to kick things off.
The last person to come in, usually their music plays throughout while they brawling through the crowd and doing all their shenanigans and shit. But they actually acknowledged the music playing, and they made different requests to shut the music off, and they played different variations and different stuff or whatnot. But they actually played Final Countdown again. And then they cut that off because it cost too much money per, was that Matt Jackson?
Yeah, I hated this. I hated the touch tune segment. This is so annoying, and it's like it pops the marks every time, and they're all breathing out their mouths and having a great time with it. It started with Darby's music playing, and the Elite was like, "Hang on, play our music instead." And then they did that, and then Bryan got the mic and said, "No, play my music instead." And they did that, and then they said, "Stop playing that music. It costs us too much money." And everyone had a big chuckle, and then the crowd chanted, "We want music."
Mm-hmm. All right. Well,
the best part about this was the coffin drop in the crowd when they yelled "Final Countdown."
Yeah. Now that was you couldn't have timed that any better. But like, let's break this down in the fourths and whatnot. So we had so many different angles going on here throughout this match, but the one I want to focus on is freaking Jack Perry and Darby Allin. So they went off on their own and they start brawling out throughout the arena and whatnot. So at some point, Darby tried to murder Jack Perry by drowning him in an ice bath.
Yeah, they had a cold plunge back there and they dropped him in it.
Yeah, he actively held this man's head underwater and tried to murder him. You know, cameras were there. There's witnesses. So like,
yeah, we all saw it.
That's not a smart move. But we would assume that at some point, you know, while they're brawling back there, this is what I thought. So I saw all that trash conveniently piled up in a particular order. And I was like, he got a flamethrower. That looks like a bonfire. He gonna set that shit on fire. Watch. That did not happen. They alluded to the fact that Jack Perry took a big ass, the little party buses and ran Darby over in the back.
Yeah, and then knocked himself out in the process.
Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I thought that was fun or whatever. But like, let's still follow that thread and whatnot. So Jack Perry also attempting murder upon a person failed because Darby would stagger from the back first out of the two and get into the ring and start joining in the fray and kicking ass and doing things and whatnot, which I thought it was pretty cool that he had some foresight. He had his face mask on, and on his face mask, he had thumbtacks. So if you hit him in the face, you're hitting thumbtacks. So later, we get footage of Jack Perry walking through the back, still soaked from his ice plunge and whatnot, and he locks eyes with Tony Khan, and he beelines for him and yokes him up out of his seat. That was like some horror movie shit for me, and I was like, yo, that shit is cool. But it would lead to Perry bringing him outside onto the rampway where everybody is fighting and carrying on. Darby Allin comes out with a flamethrower and sets this man on fire. Fire!
He did do that.
My God. I bingo card, fucking rip it in half. Throw it in the trash. Because I would have never put that on my wrestling bingo card that somebody would get set on fire, you know, by other means other than, you know, putting lighter fluid on the goddamn table. Wild shit.
How'd you get a bingo card? How come everyone's got bingo cards and I don't?
I don't know. I'm sorry. We have to make you one next time.
I guess so. I missed out on my 2024 bingo card that everyone on the internet seems to have.
But yeah, I mean, that was just that thread of it.
This was pretty extreme stuff. Fine. I mean, he brought the flamethrower out on TV. Like, you have to use it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't tease it if you don't use it.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't use it, you lose it.
One of my favorite spots in the match was when Okada did his like pose with the middle finger and Cash showed up and bit it. Like that for me, I'm like, that's good. That's good wrestling. And then there was a tombstone. At this point, it occurred to me that no one's trying to win this match. And that's what really irked me is they've been doing this for so long and hitting big moves and no one's going for pins.
Mm. Well, you can only do it in the ring, but it still took them a long time once they actually got in the ring.
Plenty of things happened in the ring that they could have tried to do a pin.
Mm.
Yeah.
To talk about Okada again. I mean, another star-making moment in there is when he pulled the shoes up with the thumbtacks out of the box, and he did what they did in the AEW commercial for the shoes. He was like, "Here, try these." Love that shit.
They love being silly in times where people are getting lit on fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't like the Elite. They're like it's too goofy.
Okay. Shining star of the match, Okada.
They did eventually get back to the ring where they did pass out the shoes, and they tie up Darby for a classic Age of the Fall sacrifice in the middle of the ring where they hang him upside down. At this point, the babyfaces did do some attempts at pins, which was nice.
Mm-hmm. Also, that Darby hanging upside down like that, blood dripping from his carcass, reminded me of how the Predator would skin his prey and hang him from trees. Also,
yeah, I guess that's a thing too.
Also very insensitive to have a man hanging from a harness on the same night you announced the Owen tournament with Martha.
I do
there.
I wonder how that came off. I assume fine, but to me it does come off a bit tacky.
Mm-hmm.
But who are we? There was an exploding chair involved at one point. Mm-hmm. They put the thumbtack boots or Reebok pumps on and super kicked Darby in the head while he was hanging upside down from the building.
Of all the random shit that happened during this match, an exploding chair was not in my thought process.
Yeah, it was nothing. Compared to everything else, it was nothing. Bryan Danielson finally comes in and is the hero of this. He's been kind of like missing most of this match. Yeah. But he's the hero here. He beats the shit out of everybody. Hits the Busaiku knee on Okada, but ultimately ends up taking an EVP trigger, and then Jack Perry hits a running knee on Bryan as he's trying to help Darby Allin. And then this show ended with Jack Perry, of all people,
got to put him over
Bryan Danielson in the middle of the ring.
Wild shit. And I'm here for the chaos.
Not how I would have gone with this finish.
Mm-mm. But I mean, it leaves us with more questions. I mean, where do we go from here? I'm interested to see where that road takes us.
I have some theories.
Tell me more.
I assume it's going to be the Elite punishing all of these guys for stepping to them in some form or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
So expect more antics. I'm sure some people enjoy this stuff with these guys. It is not me. This didn't change it. Like, I still think they're big dorks, and I hate that they do these, like, we're big dorks all the time, but also we do extreme stuff. And I don't know. They're not the hardcore icons they pretend to be.
So if you could replace the Elite, the four people that composed of the Elite for this match, who would you sub them with?
What, in this match?
Yeah. Like
people on the AEW roster, we have to have a Anarchy in the Arena match against FTR, Bryan, and Darby.
Yeah, you say you don't like them, so who would you replace them with?
Four of the Sandman. Maybe each one has a different t-shirt on or something, so you could differentiate them.
Or different hammer pants.
Yeah, and if you want to play a song for an entire match, he's got one.
Okay, you kind of selling me on it.
It's fine. Like, people, this type of wrestling isn't for me. Some people can enjoy it, but I can't. Other stuff on the show is cool, though. I really liked the Barbed Wire Cage match, which I know it seems silly to say after saying I don't like the Anarchy in the Arena, but Barbed Wire Cage was like a blood feud of two guys who did not like each other. They didn't pause for jokes, and they beat the fuck out of each other. Like, that's a good blood feud match.
Well,
I thought Willow's and the Mercedes was really good. Swerve and Christian was really good for a match filled with shenanigans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was one joke in the Barbed Wire Cage match, and that was Adam thinking that the other. Well, yeah, that too. But Adam thinking the other two was going to side with him and beat up Malakai.
I don't think that's a joke. He might have thought that was going to happen.
He's like, "Joke's on you, fucker!" Pow! He Brody clotheslined the shit out of that guy. Anyway,
yeah, there was stuff on the show I liked. It wasn't as good of a show as I anticipated or expected it to be. but it was a show. I will say, of all the triple threat matches this weekend, Jericho, Hook, and Shibata was not the best one.
No, it was not.
We got that yesterday, or
Yes.
2 days ago at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck that guy, man. Now he got my homeboy with him. God damn it.
Well,
we didn't get all of it.
we didn't get all of it, folks. But we'll try again on Friday.
Yeah. Please join us Friday on all your podcasting platforms and go to fatal4pod.com. That's FOUR pod.com, to where you can find all our happenings with social media and Patreon, and just chill with your boys, get some more of this good shenanigans and whatnot, much as you got on this pay-per-view. And that's it. We'll see you next time.